Hello, my name is Blaziken, and welcome to my Yoimiya review video. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about Yoimiya versus Hu Tao, her strengths or weaknesses, and kind of just an overall evaluation as well as pull recommendations. Let's just get started with their builds. But before we get into the thick of things, a quick friendly reminder to like the video and sub to the channel if you're interested in more content like this. But with that being said, and that out of the way, let's get right back into the video. So, my Yoimiya is running R1 Thundering Pulse, 4 Shimenawa. Here are her stats, and her talents. C0 of course. And as for Hu Tao, so Hu Tao's got I actually use the same goblet for them, so I do need Hu Tao's goblet back. Here we go. These are her stats, a little bit better than Yoimiya's. Forgive me, my Shimenawa drops are terrible, honestly. I may deal with what I have. I'm nerfing Hu Tao a bit. I could be using R5 Homa, but that'd be extremely unfair, so I'm using Jade. This is a pretty massive hidden or DPS, honestly, so do keep that in mind. Hopefully it kind of curbs the power of her constellations, her talents, and of course her having slightly better stats probably. Hard to say with HP, attack. Yeah, pretty hard to say. But with that being said, I'm going to talk about her constellations because that matters for this comparison. For C1, I am going to refrain from, dash canceling as much as I can. It happens on the Prima Geovishap, you'll see, but it doesn't happen in Abyss. So yeah, her C1's not going to be the most relevant thing. C2, this is kind of relevant. Her Blood Blossoms do a pretty significant chunk of extra damage, but overall her damage spike shouldn't be too much. 3 and 5, I'll talk about them together. Yeah, pretty significant damage buff, honestly, but hopefully that's curbed a little bit by me using Primordial Jade. C4 is irrelevant, and C6 is more or less irrelevant. I mean, I guess it prevents me from dying sometimes, but that's about it. My crit rate's really high, so it's not really helping me very much. With that being said, those are my builds. This is my explanation for why it's okay I'm using C6 Hu Tao, but yeah. With that being said, let's just jump right into the comparison then. So to start off with, I'm going to do a quick Primo Geovishap kill, just to compare their single target damage. So what you're going to see here are two things. Number one, Hu Tao has her burst, so that really helps her get Primo Geovishap killed in 2 rotations, whereas Yoimiya can't do that. So that's the first big difference. The second big difference is, of course, the downtime. Hu Tao has, much less downtime than Yoimiya does, so yeah, those two things combined really just screws Yoimiya, honestly. With that being said, Yoimiya is pretty close, but there is something that you might notice. Yoimiya actually whiffs a lot, so it's a little bit weird. Moving on to Abyss now. First chamber is by far Yoimiya's worst chamber. Actually, let me talk about the teams first real quick. So this is just some Vape Hu Tao team really that I slapped Yoimiya onto, and it's quite problematic because Yoimiya has a large internal cooldown issue. So because of that, she can't really use Vape like Hu Tao does, and that definitely shows. There's one more issue. She's a single target. which actually hurts her a lot. Like, it's really bad. Because she's single target, the big Nobushi here are just a pain to kill. Now, technically Hu Tao is also considered a single target damage dealer, but to be fair, she can actually hit them both. So she just has such a big advantage here, and of course her burst, it's not quite fair. So yeah, because of that, Hu Tao is able to clear that first chamber so much faster. As you can see, Yoimiya even lets the Pyro one get his, I don't know, aura? Heal? Whatever it is. In any case. I'm going to really quickly talk about the second chamber for both of them. Pretty smooth. Not really anything crazy. I will say that the Hu Tao run is not very pretty. And the reason why is because I kind of didn't do many runs for Hu Tao. Like, I just got a run and then ran with it. Because she didn't need to, you know, really flex anything crazy to beat Yoimiya here. So I decided not to really get anything insane for her runs. To Chamber 3 is something I want to talk about. Because, once again, Yoimiya's single target definitely hinders her here. Hu Tao, you're going to see, you know, really great. He's going to be able to hit one at a time actually, but her burst can hit like all of them. So it's like a huge damage spike. And because of that, Hu Tao is going to finish like basically like a whole chamber ahead here. Not quite, but pretty close to. So yeah. As you can see, Yoimiya here. This is great against the Rune Hunter because single target, right? But once it comes to the Sentinels here, well, a lot more annoying. With that being said, if I'm being honest, Yoimiya's performance was fine, right? Like, she's going to be able to beat this, no problem, and like, the time left is perfectly reasonable to 9-star. So, yeah, just not quite Hu Tao, right? But to be fair, the biggest time loss was Chamber 1. The other two chambers, she's fairly close, comparatively speaking. Yeah, she does have some really annoying auto-targeting issues where she can miss and, like, you know, sometimes she'll be trying to hit the dude with the shield, but yeah, for the most part it's fine. So, I have mentioned that Yoimiya is not very good at vaping, so because of that I decided, well, let's do a little bit more of a fair test and run a reactionless comp, basically. So this is a pretty simple comp with Venti, and Bennett and Kazuha. There we go. I could not remember his name to save my life, but yeah. No reactions, right? Swirl's the only reaction, but Hu Tao and Yoimiya aren't proccing that. So here's an interesting thing to note. The Nobushi, the big ones, are still Yoimiya's bang. However, Venti definitely carries her a little bit there. Like, Venti does a ton of damage to them. And that really makes a big difference. It allows her to actually kill the Nobushi really well compared to normal. Yeah. And then of course Hu Tao does great on them. Now there is something to note. This is like Hu Tao's like worst team ever basically. You know, we're not vaping. We're using Bennett, which is like over healing her all the time. Like, it's really annoying. But yeah, I mean, even so, Hu Tao's still gonna crush it because she's Hu Tao. The second chamber is just so good for both of them. Like, they're both so excellent at dealing with the second chamber, in all honesty. Venti helps break the Dismage shield a little bit, but yeah, I mean, he does what he does. Overall, the second chamber is quite simple, quite easy. Hu Tao's burst definitely helps out for letting her kind of pull ahead a little bit still. Then Chamber 3. I think that Chamber 3 is pretty simple. The problem is, of course, the Sentinels once again for Yoimiya, but hey, Venti kind of helps a little bit there, so that's nice. And other than that, I mean, it was really close. Like, This is a really close one. Hu Tao barely edges out Yoimiya in the end, you'll say. Yeah, I mean, Yoimiya did great. But of course, this is like not a great comparison because this is not a team you should be running Hu Tao in, basically. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I mean, if your goal is to clear floor 12, I mean, Yoimiya is going to do great, right? Like, I have plenty of time to clear floor 12. Yeah. With that being said, that's it for this comparisons. So I'm going to just say it straight up. Yoimiya is not as strong as Hu Tao, but does she have to be? I mean, at the end of the day, right? Hu Tao is going to crush floor 12, you know, oh my god, she's so fast, she's so good, right? But Yoimiya is going to crush floor 12 too, right? Like, you're not going to have trouble with floor 12 of this with Yoimiya. So, is there a huge problem there? I'm not so sure. Look, a lot of people are very angry for some reason, right? There's a lot of toxicity that I've seen. It's pretty baffling. I don't know what reason there is to get angry at people for playing Yoimiya, or, you know, get angry at people who are saying that Yoimiya is not quite as strong as Hu Tao. Either way, like, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's a game. Play what you enjoy. If Yoimiya is something you enjoy, play her. Go test her out in the trial. It's pretty easy. But, I mean, here's the thing about Yoimiya. She's completely adequate as a DPS. So, when it comes to my recommendation, I can say pretty confidently that if you need a DPS, you'll do the job just fine. If you already have DPSs, then there's no reason to pull for her. Here's the thing. Being weaker than Hu Tao doesn't mean you don't pull for her, right? Because we don't know when Hu Tao's gonna get a rerun. Probably not anytime soon. And looking into the next patch, and the characters that are out that patch, well, no spoilers, no leaks here, but let's just say that you're not gonna find a great DPS there, I think. So if you need a DPS, I would probably pull for Yoimiya. Especially considering how great her 4-star options are for weapons. It's definitely not going to be a bad choice. Here's the thing with Yoimiya. You're going to be able to crush 412, and that's all you really need to do. But yeah, the only reason to not pull for her is if you already had her DPS set up, then yeah, there's no reason to pull for her. It's kind of a waste. But if you need a DPS, I wouldn't hesitate, honestly. She rushes floor 12, not going to be a huge problem. You know, just because she's a little bit underpowered or whatever, doesn't mean that's the end of the world, honestly. Yeah, you'll have fun. Play Yoimiya if you want. She's definitely, I don't know, she's quite enjoyable for me, so I'll definitely play her more. Yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching my video. Definitely go make sure to check out my guide video on Yoimiya if you want to actually build her and run her teams and whatnot. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.